Welcome to the Life in Michigan podcast. Life in Michigan is more than an online magazine. We share the stories, experiences, and vibrant personalities that make the Great Lakes State truly unique. In this podcast, we bring you inspiring, heartwarming, and sometimes unexpected conversations with people who call Michigan home. From the rugged beauty of the Upper Peninsula to the bustling creativity of Kalamazoo, we'll cover the stories and define what it means to live, work, and play in Michigan. Today, we are sitting down with the folks from the Neighborhood Theater Group. They have been in the community for over a decade, focusing on original work. Grab a beverage, get cozy, and let's get started. Kristin and Greg, welcome to the Life in Michigan podcast. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, good. Thanks.
Yeah. So for everyone that's listening, we are, Greg and Kristin are in the Neighborhood Theater Group, and I believe we met through the Creative Washtenaw. Was that correct? One of the happy hours?
Yeah, you guys and I bumped into each other at the Creative Washtenaw happy hour and got to talking about different opportunities and stuff.
Yeah. That has been just a gold mine of awesome people to talk to, I gotta tell you. So we're thrilled to have you guys on the podcast, just so that everyone listening can get an idea. Maybe each of you could say like who you are and what is your role at the Neighborhood Theater Group.
Sure. I can start. So I'm Kristin Danko. I am the artistic and executive director of Neighborhood Theater Group, and I'm also the co-founder.
And I'm Greg Pizzino. I am the technical director with Neighborhood Theater Group. I've also written and performed with them many, many, many times.
Fantastic. Awesome. So maybe, just as some background, like how did the Neighborhood Theater Group get started? And I believe you're in Ypsi. What's the Ypsi connection?
Yeah, so I can answer that. My co-founder, Aaron Dean, him and I met in Chicago. We were acting in Chicago, and we wanted to kind of stop acting, and I knew I wanted to start a theater company and kind of be the provider of opportunities, and I didn't really want to be the actor anymore. And so all I knew was acting, so I didn't know like the back end of anything. So I was like, well, let me get a degree in arts management or arts administration to kind of learn how to do this. And so I applied to a few programs, and the one that I chose was here at Eastern Michigan. I got my master's in arts admin here, and that's what brought us to Ypsi. And then I was going to take the degree and we were going to go because we were like, well, we're city people. We're going to move to a big city. And we just fell in love with Ypsi, and we ended up staying here, and we moved here in 2013. So we've been here for 13 years. And our inaugural show was in 2015. It was my graduate thesis project. So that became our inaugural show. We got our first funding at the Center for Entrepreneurship at Eastern in a pitch competition. So it's
cool.
We're very Ypsi focused.
That's awesome. And Greg, how did you get involved with NTG?
So Kristin and Aaron actually worked with me back in the day. And I think right about the time you guys were actually leaving the company that I work for, Kristin said, hey, we're doing this Halloween cabaret show. And we know you like to sing. We know your house is Halloween all year round. You should really come out and audition for this thing. And I hadn't done theater since I had been in high school. But I was like, yeah, sure. Why not? And I've pretty much kind of emceed or, had a lead role in every Halloween show since. I am their standby for those particular shows. And that was 2 seasons in, I think, to NTG's existence. I've been with you guys for 8 seasons now, something along those lines.
Awesome.
Yeah. They figured out I had some technical expertise when it came to building sets and things like that. So I started doing that for them shortly thereafter. And yeah.
Fantastic.
And Greg, do you have a podcast also?
My wife does.
Okay.
I know you guys are going to be talking to her and her recording partner at Haunted Mitten
Okay.
later this month or at the beginning of May, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yep.
But they have a show called Haunted Mitten, which is about ghosts and legends of Michigan. I used to host a show called Cinema Guano, which was
Oh,
a weird film podcast.
Oh, cool.
That kind of got retired post COVID, but yeah. So
all right. So you guys, you currently have a residency in the back office studio on North Washington. And I have to admit, when I think of theater, I often think of a place like Michigan Theater, like it's a brick and mortar. It's got something that's like there for like it's there. You know, you walk by and you're like, oh yeah, there's the Michigan Theater. That's where I go to see plays, right? So how does it work being in a co-working space? And how does that change your productions? Does it change your productions?
It does. I love performing here. We literally transform a conference room into a black box theater space. So we bring in lights, we cover the whiteboards with something different every time, we cover the walls, and everything's like really mobile. Um, and it's actually really cool. All of our stuff is stored here, and at night it becomes this, when we have shows, this really intimate theater space. It's very intimate. Like if you're on the front row, you can't like cross your legs sometimes.
How many people does it sit?
We can get 44 max in there,
Okay.
Okay.
and it's overflow. And then, but we do musicals. We've done we did a serial play where our an anthology play, I mean, where we had a three-piece band that wrote songs in between each one act. So like we can get a lot of stuff going on in this space. And it does change how we write. Since we write our own shows, we call it theater from scratch. So whether it's devised show or new performance, we write to production. So there's some shows we can't do in this space, but there's some that we can very easily. And we do, and we call it writing for production. So knowing like we can't have a cast of 20, but you know, we can have a cast of 7 and we can, you know, we can't have a full kitchen in there, but we can have an idea of a kitchen in there, and it kind of changes to how we do things. And we set up the space differently for each show, so it becomes really exciting for our audience to see how we set it up each time. And so that's kind of fun. But our goal is to have our own space. We're so grateful for the back office studio. It's a great space and a great community here. But we do want a black box theater, so not quite like the Michigan Theater, a black box manipulative space that we can continue to transform for each show. And that's our goal, is to get into a storefront theater.
Nice. Very nice.
So what kind of challenges are there, Greg? Like if you're building the set and you're gonna like, I'm assuming like you might have to take it down. Like how long does it run for a particular show? Does it go for a couple weeks and you have to take it down? Like I'm just so curious. Like what are the mechanics of that?
yeah, so most of our shows usually run for like 2-3 day weekends. Is pretty standard for us. So it's usually Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Depending on the type of show we're doing, you know, at least one of those Sundays will often be a matinee, so people can see an afternoon show for folks who don't like driving at night or who don't want to be out, you know, later in the evening, that sort of thing. Um, it really varies show to show. Some of our sets are more abstract. Some of our sets are way more involved. We've turned that conference space into everything from a rundown motel in the 1970s. It's been a full tiki bar. We've transformed it into a sketch comedy space where, you know, it has very, very little set, or the set is constantly moving. We've done all sorts of different things with it. It does offer you the chance to be very transformative. So you get the opportunity to take a completely blank canvas other than the four walls and figure out what you're going to do within those limitations. So you do have to be more creative, but it's also an opportunity to be more creative. to me, it's the same as, we've worked in basement spaces before. We used to work at the old Bonacera,
Oh,
and one of the challenges down there was a cement pole that was directly in front of the stage.
It
And
was
so
just
you
right
had
of
to figure
center.
out, yeah. So we would have to choreograph around the pole to make sure the audience could see. And it's, to me, it's no different than that. You work with the challenges of every individual space. Every place is going to be a little bit different. Most of our set design leaders and set crews really enjoy doing it, though, because of the opportunity it does present. So
All
we
right.
typically do what we call a light strike after that first weekend, so they can transform it back into a conference room during the week. So we will pack up some of our things. We will not take them all the way back into storage, but we will take out anything that really prevents it from being used as a conference room. And then we'll come back in on Thursday and we'll reset the space.
Wow. That's awesome.
So we went to a show over at the Purple Rose, and they were like all down, like that particular set. They were all down in. How do you do that in your conference room? Do you circle around and people perform in the middle, or is it one end? Like,
We have done that. For our Halloween show is called Black Cat, and our most recent one last fall was a devised show, and it took place in a campsite, like a campground, and it was folk horror. And that was immersive. So that had audience on both sides, and it was like a big thrust, a little thrust stage because it's a tiny space. But, and then we even had like campfire seating where people could sit on the floor and you would be
cool.
right next to the actors, and the
fun.
actors moved all around. So we've done that before. We've also done it where the most common way we do is where there's like two whiteboards along an exposed brick wall. And we usually, it kind of has like a little awning. I guess that might be the best way to say it. It has like a little ceiling, a lower ceiling. And we'll usually use that as the front. And then there's a big long side wall that we'll use that too. So we kind of have this L-shaped stage.
Oh, cool.
And then we've done it so many different ways where we haven't been against the brick wall. We've only been along the big white wall, and there's a door to the space, so we often use that door for the show. And then there's a garage door that opens up into more of the lobby. And so what we do is open up that for more overflow seating, and it gives us an extra entrance as well. And then we'll take some masking. Greg built a curtain thing that we can use with PVC piping, so we put that in and kind of create a backstage.
Very nice.
So as long as we're talking about sets, I have one more set question. Greg, what was your most like, how am I going to make this work moment for building a set? I mean, I'm just curious, like now that I know like the mechanics of the room, like there must have been a lot, but what was the most like, whoa, how?
So Kristin often texts me at my day job with a
I direct
Greg,
a lot.
can we do this? Can we build this? And the most recent, no, well, not the most recent one. The most recent one is the only time I've ever said no.
Yes, I gotta know.
Yeah, that was the only time I've ever said no. They wanted to figure out a way to have someone go through a plate glass window, and I went no.
I get beat up sometimes, I will say that.
But before that, they wanted to know if I could build a wedding arch that caught fire.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I racked my brain on how to do this, went back and forth with both our props person and also one of my lead set crew folks, and had half a dozen different ideas on how we could do it. And finally what we came up with was taking clear shower curtain liner, and we painted it and then Mod Podged it, sliced it into kind of 3 or 4 thick ribbons, and rolled it up. And so when someone fell kind of slow motion through that arch and it caught fire, they would grab a ripcord, and it would they would pull the ripcord, the whole thing would unroll, and then we had lights that would go on. So the stage lights would go out and the fire lights, the flame lights would go on, and that was our catching fire.
Wow,
And
cool.
every time it worked, I was white knuckling it through pretty much every show, worried that it wasn't going to work one show. And I think pretty much every time the audience cheered when the fire came down. It was pretty awesome. But we
it was
fooled around with that thing
incredible.
for several days, trying to get it to work exactly right and getting it to work consistently. We talked about having to spray it with like cooking spray to make sure it was smooth.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, didn't have to do that because that would have been a mess. But we got it down to where it worked every single time. We never had a problem with it on any of the shows. So.
Oh man, yeah, I can
Yeah, it
imagine
was,
being worried about like, oh, is the ripcord gonna pull? Is it really gonna
Yeah.
work? Yeah, or pull the whole thing down.
Yeah. Every time it came, we'd be like, "Are they gonna do it?" And it did. And like Greg said, the audience would cheer. It was the climax of the show. It was a parody of '90s Lifetime movies,
Oh,
and so it was like a wedding, and everything went up in flames and stuff. And it was so funny. And they had like a slow motion fight. It was choreographed, and then the pole was choreographed into the scene. But I can't, because we wrote the show and we wanted that to be the climax, but we had to ask Greg. We actually asked Greg and Mel, our lead set designer, too, if they could do it at a cast party before, because we were like, we want to write this in, but can we do this? And they said yes, without knowing exactly how, but they figured it out, and it was incredible.
that's awesome. So, how did the partnership with the back office studio come about?
Oh, so we've had a really long relationship with this space. So when I was in graduate school, I took an independent study with Dr. Diana Wong, and who teaches at the College of Business in at Eastern. And during that time, I was working on my business plan for NTG, and also working on my thesis project. And she ended up becoming more than just a professor of mine. She ended up becoming my mentor, and really still is.
Awesome.
And at the time, I was like looking for a space to do this. We were doing a staged reading of a new musical, and I was trying to produce this musical and direct it. And I really needed an open space. It was called Beaver's Long Strange Trip, and it took place after Leave It to Beaver ended, I think, in '64, and it took place in '67. So like Wally goes off to the Vietnam War, and Beaver goes off to college, and there was this wonderful stage reading, and I was telling Diana about this, and she was like, "Well, do you know the old Pub 13?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "We just bought that building." And I was like, "Oh." She was like, "Do you want to do it there?" And I was like, "How about yes?" And so we did it. And if you have ever been to the back office studio, it's a co-working space. There's meeting rooms, there's desks. It's completely different. At that point, it was a vacant bar. So none of this was here, and we still had we used the tables and chairs because they had like left everything. There was still a bar, and we did it on a first Friday in June. It was June 5th, 2015, and there were 114 people that came out to see the stage reading. It was, and that was when we were like, oh yeah, we're staying in Ypsilanti. And ever since then, like I said, Diana kind of became my mentor, and then the two other owners, Chow and Wayne Millette, were just so supportive, and we continued on with this relationship, and they've been huge supporters of NTG from the jump, and we've grown because of them, because of their support, all three of them, and their mentorship. And this space feels like an ensemble member, like it feels like another member of the organization. We've been here for so long, off and on, and we're just very grateful. And it is a place that does inspire creativity. They inspire creativity, and all the members here are really wonderful. And so it's just a great, great, great place to be.
That is very, very cool.
A lot of us in the company will come over there and work even when it's not on neighborhood theater group stuff. So.
Yeah, Greg just worked on a presentation for a convention he's presenting at the other day. You were here last week. And Krista and Kim from Haunted Mitten are in NTG, and they'll write their podcasts and work on their books and stuff here. And so people come in all the time and just work here. Just honestly, we'll just come and hang out. There's couches.
Well, it fits into the, the neighborhood aspect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a neighborhood activity. So
Yeah.
I'm curious, like, how much does Ypsilanti and the space kind of creep into the scripts for the plays that you guys write?
Craig, you want to answer that?
Yeah, quite a bit. So we have a little bit of a unique situation where that's concerned. A lot of our shows take place in one of two shared universes. So one of them is the Huron Valley universe, the HVU, which is sort of an amalgam of Ypsi, East Lansing, Ann Arbor, a few other kind of college towns, but especially Ypsi. We take a lot of Ypsi's unique folklore and work it into shows. If you're familiar with the Smeat, which is Ypsi's cryptid, the furred flying frog, the Smeat makes many appearances in NTG shows. That also gives us the opportunity to have characters who either recur, are related to other characters. We have an entire murder board of who's related to who, what show they've been in. Some characters have had a younger and an older version of themselves in shows, all sorts of things. So Ypsi is very foundational to what we write. Absolutely.
Nice. Awesome.
And then our other universe is the Tree County universe, which is a little more of Kristin's unique creation.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of our parody shows happen. A lot of our satires happen. So Stranger My Breakfast Nook, which was our Lifetime parody, that happens there. A Man for Christmas, which is our Hallmark Christmas movie parody, that takes place there. And then there will be some future shows that are going to be taking place there that I cannot talk about yet.
Oh, you can talk about it. We're gonna do a. We're gonna do a.
It's your show, so
yeah, a daytime soap opera parody called Santiago Sunsets, which is the third city in the. That was where I wanted the plate glass window to. So I got Venus. I have to come up with something else.
It turns out the candy glass is very expensive and hard to clean up.
And Sweet Greg actually did price it out. It was like, this would be our annual budget.
Oh, but think about how cool it'll look.
I know.
Yeah. So Chris is not here, and I had one that was particularly for her, a question, but you guys I know you can answer it. I'm curious about her title, dramaturg. How is that? Did I say it right? I'm probably not saying it correct at all.
Well, a dramaturg is someone. Krista has done dramaturgy for us, but she's not the company dramaturg.
Oh.
But she has done that, and so is Kim. And it's somebody that analyzes the script for context, continuity, and really contextualizes the script for the actors.
Okay.
Very nice.
Yeah, often if there's background information that the actors may not be familiar with, that kind of thing. So we did a show. It was actually, I think, the second show I did with Neighborhood Theater Group called Cryptic, and it was centered around cryptids and folklore monsters and that kind of thing. And because of what their particular interests are, Kim ended up being the dramaturg for that, and came in, did a whole kind of short lecture with the cast and crew about what cryptids were, and like Kristin said, contextualized a lot of that kind of stuff that was in the script that the actors may not have otherwise been familiar with.
Yeah.
Got it. I was very curious about that because I was like, well, what is this word? I even Googled it. I was like, what is this word? I don't understand it. I'll probably even say it wrong when we get on the podcast.
But you did say it right, dramaturg. Mm-hmm.
You guys were looking at me and I'm like, oh, I've got the wrong person. I don't know, and your development director is not here, and that's so could we talk about fundraising? I mean, how does that work for you guys if you're gonna just do all original stuff? Does that impact at all with your fundraising at all, or that you don't have a physical brick and mortar. Like, how does that work in your fundraising?
Well, everything's leading up to getting a brick and mortar, but but we do a lot of fundraising events. So when we turned 10, we had a decades themed fundraiser. There's a band that emerged from the NTG called Lavona. They're three members of neighborhood theater group that started a band. And they performed. We have a DJ in our ensemble and they DJ'd. And so we'll have like fundraising, really fun fundraising events. We've done a telethon before, like where people could, we streamed it on YouTube and people could call in. It was a 1970s style telethon. It was
All
really
right.
cool.
Excellent.
So we like to do like fun fundraising events. And then we do like a usual your annual campaigns, and we're starting a new fundraising plan where we really want to make sure that we're taking, you know, if for grants and things like that, that we take money that align with our values and our our how we work. Um, it's really important for us that our funders understand how inclusive we try to be, and the work that we do is from us. So it's not the shows that like we'll plan a season and not have a script, which to some people sound really scary, but to us it's all right, yeah, we got this. We're gonna do a show, we'll write it this summer all together. It's gonna be great. So for some people that's really, really exciting, and some people that might be scary. But I think once you come to see a show and you kind of understand our process and you get to be a part of it, it starts to make sense. And we also have a Patreon, which is very quite helpful for us because it keeps income rolling in, and we post behind the scenes things, we post interviews, we post archives, we post a lot of cool stuff on there. So people can give $5 a month, and which might be a little, but it goes a lot, it all adds up for
Right,
us.
for
You know?
sure.
So,
How
go
many
ahead.
productions do you do a year?
We do 4 full productions, so 4 full productions, scripts, costumes, the whole thing, or costume sets, the whole thing. And then we'll do next season we're doing 2 stage readings, but we usually do 1 to 2 stage readings of new scripts that are the developmental process that need to get in front of an audience. So we're actually doing one of Greg's next season, which I'm excited about as a stage reading, and getting that up. And some shows we've done stage readings for, and they might be ready to do in this space, but we don't. Some of our bigger musicals, we just need a different. We can't quite do those in our space um, right now, but we've got some on the back burner ready to go. We do.
Awesome. So, we talked a little bit about the process, but how does that start? Like, does somebody just have an idea for what they think would be a good play, and then you all get together to work out pieces, or what is that process like?
So it's different for each piece. Um, we have a writers group, and I'll have Greg kind of talk about that. But I can talk about the devising process. So sometimes we do what's called devising, which is where you start with a concept or an idea and then you write collaboratively. So the last one we did was called Black Cat Folklore. It's the one I was talking about that was kind of in the round with the thrust and the campfire scene. And over the summer, all we had was this is called Black Cat Folklore. This is about folklore. And we had only Greg and Kylisa, I think, and the cast had devised with us before. And so the rest were all really new to it. So it was a lot of like just trusting the process. But you just start with brainstorming, you start with conversations, you start talking about moods, and developing characters and then stories from that. And so when we devise, it's a long process, but it's extremely rewarding because the show wouldn't be the same without each person that was in the room. And that is really, I think, really special.
Yeah.
So we do devise in that way. And then we have a writers group, and I'll have Greg talk about that because he's highly involved in the writers group.
Excuse me. Yeah, so the writers group pretty much we meet, once or twice a month, and anyone who is in the ensemble who has something they're interested in working on can bring it into the writers group, test it out with actors. Everyone kind of has their own individual process. I tend not to bring stuff even to the writers group until I'm really confident that it's like 80% there and ready to be seen.
Yeah.
Some folks have, a couple of scenes that they just want to try out and don't know where to go from there. It varies. And then it helps to have voices a lot of the time. You get to a point in your writing where you can only retool things so many times, so much until you're left with something that needs a actual human voice to put to it
Right.
to continue developing. And that's kind of what a lot of the writers group is for you to hear it out loud and for you to sit back and get it out of your own head and out into the real world for a bit and then go back and revise. And a lot of our shows that we've done have been pulled from the writers group stuff where we went, okay, that's ready to go. Let's put it out there, or that's ready for a staged reading, or that's ready for an in-house reading, whatever it is. And it's ready for the next step. We used to, back in the day, do some open calls every once in a while. At this point, we've got enough people in the writers room with material that is so close to being ready to go that we can't really even open up for open calls these days, just because we do have a plethora of material and writers. And at this point, our ensemble is 60 people, somewhere in that neighborhood. Now, not all of those are in the writers group, but when you get that many people, everyone's got something that they want to be working on or something that they want to do.
Yeah.
Certainly there are ideas that have come out of the writers group and been passed off to other people. I just did that yesterday after our writers group meeting. I had an idea for a short play that might fit into another anthology that we want to do, but I knew that I was not going to have time to work on it because of other projects and things. But I knew exactly the two people who would like take that and run with it and would really be into that idea, so passed it off to them. Hotel Delgado, which was our last anthology play, that came out of the writers group. I had an idea for 2 short plays that took place in a rundown motel in Huron Valley in the 70s, and I knew I wanted to do something with these. And you brought the one to the writers group and went, this could make a cool one night show of like 3 or 4 short plays that all take place in the same place on the same night in different rooms in this motel.
Oh, cool.
So that's the anthology part of it.
That's the anthology part of it. And I had never seen really anyone do a live theater like that.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a unique way of doing it, a unique way of storytelling, and it worked out really well. We had stuff that overlapped between some of the shows, where things would recur or things would be referenced that had happened in the one you just saw or the one you hadn't seen yet. And turned out to be, I think, one of our best shows. That was a show that felt like we had kind of graduated in some way.
Yeah, I agree. We had a huge cast for it because you could cast so many more actors because of only a few overlapped, I think, right?
Yeah,
And
there
then
weren't a
that
lot
was
of
the
overlaps.
show. Yeah. And that was where Lavona, the band from NTG, they wrote a song inspired by each play that they would play while we would set the scene up while we would change over the set for the next show. And that even started from that show got a staged reading the season before. And one of the band members saw the stage reading and got inspired by one of the plays and wrote a song about it. And I loved that song. And I was like, hey, would y'all do that for the full production for all of them? We had a 3-piece band and they played. It was great. It was awesome.
That is awesome. So, Kristin, when you mentioned, for example, Black Cat, and it is just that phrase, it's going to be Black Hat lore. Do you get to sections once you get to the writers group where you go, oh, that's not going to work anymore, and we got to retool this? I'm assuming yes.
When we're devising?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So you can kind of see when you're devising. So me and Marissa, who's the director, kind of facilitate the process. And Usually what happens is when you start, it gets very scary because you're like, we're not going to have anything. We're not going to have full script. And usually what happens is we have too much material. And that was the case in this one. And but there was a moment in the process where it was kind of going off in a different direction, but it was like an unorganic direction. We needed to kind of bring it back to the themes that we had been kind of working on, just for the cohesion of it. And also that was another one where we did have to make cuts because otherwise it would have been a 3-hour show. Nobody really wants to sit there for 3 hours. So yes, there's so many times you have to really be able, when you're devising, especially when you're like, you have to be able to see it super holistically and three-dimensionally and know when it's time. And there's always a time, it's super cool in the process when it's time to like wean everything in, reel everybody in, and you can start to really see the shape. It's really cool when you can see the shape of it. We devised a different Black Cat called Black Cat and New Nightmare in 2023, I think, right?
It was 2 years
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
Folklore.
Yeah. So it's 2023. And that one was based on the theme of a nightmare, and that one was all music. And so there was the only dialogue would have been in like soundscapes. And so it was really, really cool to devise that one. Because some people would write lyrics, some people would write music, and we'd all come together, and it ended up being, it almost felt like a concept album at the end.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
very, very cool. I was very proud of that show.
Yeah.
And Lavona has taken some of the songs that were written for that, and they do regularly perform them at shows.
Awesome.
Yes, at one they made a music video. It was their first single, Miss Madam Monkey.
Oh yeah.
And you can see the music video for it.
That's cool.
Because we have a film group now. Yeah.
The devising process too was a chance to exchange pieces as well. So for Folklore, there were pieces where people had written them and they weren't quite where they needed to be for the show, and they kind of didn't know where to go with them. And so they said, well, does anybody else want to pick this one up? And so someone else would take that and retool it, or would revise it, or take the themes within that one, take some of the dialogue or things within that one, and then take that in a different direction. We had a piece called Reverend Love's Genuine Old Time Revival. Yeah. That was I think that was kind of the piece that made people the most uncomfortable during that show. You watched people squirm in their seats.
That and Taylipo.
That and Taylipo. Yes, we did an adaptation of the folk tale Taylipo. That one as well. But Reverend Love was one, where I had written something, one of the other performers had written something, and both of them kind of weren't quite where they needed to be. And so I ended up taking both of those and kind of combining them into one thing. And turned out to work really well. That opened our second act for that show.
Yeah. It ended up, and then I wrote the song for it.
Yes.
Because you had written in an ending song that was just like ending song. And it was like, it was a huge collaboration of that piece. Yeah. That was cool.
So so you have this ensemble, so you don't do like a casting call when you have a new.
We do. So some shows are cast within the ensemble. Our stage readings are always cast with the ensemble. And sometimes if we're reviving a show, we'll keep the same cast. Like for Man for Christmas, we keep that same cast. And then if somebody can't do it, we'll just pull someone else from the ensemble that can. And then for other plays, musicals, we will do casting calls. We'll do auditions, open auditions.
Okay.
Very nice.
All right. So if somebody was interested, and they wanted to become part of the NTG, what would you tell them to do? Just to reach out, to come to a show? They want to start volunteering? Like, what would be the best process for somebody to get involved in the ensemble or in the theater group?
So
okay, go ahead, Greg.
Okay. Nope. Yeah. So the first thing is come see a show. Come and see what we do, because we work like no other theater company that you've ever seen. We are not the same as what anybody ever comes in expecting they're going to see when it comes to a show, because we work in a co-working space and we're in a conference room that we've turned into a theater. Nobody else does that. The second thing is, say, hey, I want to volunteer. And that can be for anything. That can be for front of house. That could be for sound. It could be for lighting. It could be for set design. It could be for any of these things. And then after that, we have if you see something, say something rule that, hey, this person worked really well as a volunteer. They're really passionate about doing this. They want to keep doing it with us. Are we interested in having them in the ensemble? How was the working experience with them as a volunteer? And then we talk to, the director who worked with them, the stage manager who worked with them, those kind of things, and the company members, the ensemble member, or the officers within the company, essentially take a vote and say, yep, we are going to invite them to join the ensemble.
And you just have to finish one complete artistic project is what we call, because like Greg said, we work so collaboratively and different than other theater companies that other people might have worked with. So we have to make sure that they really dig how we work and that they're vibing with us. And because they might, they might want to only not do original works or, not devise. But the beauty of the ensemble is that you can do other things. We look at this as an artistic home. So once you're in the ensemble, you have opportunities like film group, writers group, design leads, directing, all those kinds of things, where you can kind of grow as a theater artist. But you only have to do work on one production per season. So you're open. Some people do a lot more. Some people do one show per season, and they're auditioning and performing it with other theater companies as well. And it's fun because we get to go see them in other shows. We usually do. We get a group together and go see. So it's a nice artistic home where you can explore, and it's a safe place to fail and try again and grow as an artist.
Very cool. So,
and the number of people who have joined the ensemble who have said, this is what I've always been looking for. This is because we are unique in that space, both because we're doing original theater, which is not the most common thing in this area.
Yep.
Right.
And because of the way that we make original theater in the space that we work in, and being rooted in the community as much as we are.
And I would think that just, that the options to do so many different pieces and be involved and learn is very attractive to some people who are wanting to know all these things.
Yeah, we've seen people really grow as maybe just getting their feet wet as a director and then becoming a really good director. Like, like learning, same with like set design, like just growing so much. I can like make so many people have grown as writers and actors and directors and designers. It's just really beautiful to watch. And something that Greg said the very beginning of the interview is true for a lot of our artists, is that he hadn't done theater since high school. And so many people come to us after not have done it since grade school or college, and are missing that outlet as an adult to explore that creative side and that artistic side, which at some point we're always kind of told to brush aside, but it's so important that we keep exploring that creative side of us and do this as an adult and have fun again.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
One of the other opportunities for getting involved too, we in the last couple of years have opened up an educational wing of the company.
Oh, I was going to ask.
And so Kristin and one of our ensemble members, Jen, does Jessica, excuse me, not Jessica. They teach a pair of acting classes. A.M. Dean, who is our literary manager, he teaches a playwriting class, and we have drawn people in from those classes to come and work with us as well. So those are definite like ins if you're looking for that kind of thing.
Yeah, and our classes have showcases at the end, so you get a chance to showcase for your friends and family. For the playwriting showcase, it's really cool. We read what they worked on in class, and it's actors from the ensemble. So
It's
the
fun.
playwrights actually get to enjoy a showcase and hear their work at the end. And yeah, somebody from our scene study class is now doing costumes for our upcoming show. So it's like really cool.
So I have your playbill here for after all, and it says it's a new play by Cole Hunter.
Too
I
bad.
don't know how to say his last name. It starts with a
Too bad.
D.
Yeah.
How do you decide who gets the byline on a script if it's such a collaborative process?
This was his play. So
Okay.
like if there's a lead, so for After All, Cole wrote that script and we read he brought it to writers group and then I read it and it was ready to go, but it needed so usually what happens if we have a new script, they'll work for that one. He worked with Aaron and I first for revisions. Then we did what was called an in-house read, where we sit around the table. The conference room at Boss is a conference room, and we keep it like that. And, and we read the script out loud with members of the ensemble, and then we have a huge discussion about it to give the writer feedback. And then he goes and writes that. So that is his script.
His
So
baby.
Cole wrote that one. Yeah. So like Greg had one called Lee's Grand Tiki. It started with an in-house read, got feedback, rewrites, got a staged reading, and then a full production. So even though like we're all working on it together, it's Greg's play, it's Cole's play, you know. So there's a collaborative nature in theater naturally when you're in new play development. So that's how that would work. For folklore, that was devised. I think we had a list of 10 writers, and it just said it devised Huron Valley play. And then in the program, it was like written by all of these people.
Yeah, I think the only thing that got individual, like written
For the
by,
song.
were the songs. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I think we're almost to the point where I'm going to ring my bell and say we're almost there. Has there been anything that we haven't talked about that you were hoping that we would bring up, or do you have any shout outs, or do you want to mention anybody that we haven't talked about already?
Well, we have a show coming up. It
Okay.
opens, it opens May 8th, runs May 8th through 10th and 15th through 17th at the back office studio. It's called The Patio Prom, and it is by A.M. Dean, our literary manager and co-founder of NTG. Greg's set will be up there. Greg was headset designer of this one. This will be done at an angle, so this will be a new setup. And it takes place at the Chicago Merchandise Mart during what is an actual event. It's a patio furniture convention, and then there's this big event called the Patio Prom. And when Aaron and I were acting in Chicago, we had many a side gig, and one of his was a day laborer at the Merchandise Mart, and he based this play on his experience there, putting together patio furniture for these vendors from many of them from the South, and it was just a very interesting setting for a play. He wrote it, and it's such a charming comedy.
That's awesome.
So do you have a favorite? I know it's like saying which is your child is your favorite, right? You're never supposed to say, but in your head you're thinking, I know, but I can't say. But I'm going to ask anyway, do you have a favorite NTG production?
I'm gonna let Kristin go first. I'm gonna make her do it first.
Oh, it is so hard. I have some that are like super special to me. And then I have some that are just like, I am so proud of everybody for different reasons. Maybe the process put up some challenges that we had to work through together. But one that I just love so much is The Stranger in My Breakfast Nook. When Tylista and I wrote that, and it started as this idea, and we did a lot of research, which was watching a lot of 90s Lifetime movies, which it was a musical, and it killed. It was so funny, and like Greg making that that arch and stuff, and everything just came together, and it just really felt like our humor there. And it was the first show that Greg at the final dress laughed so hard we like broke Greg. So I feel very proud of that. Greg is not like a big laugh out loud kind of guy, but for that one we got him. So I feel like okay, we nailed it.
It's payback for all those times that I've made you scream during Black Cat rehearsals.
That is very true. There was one time where he had this like burlap mask on, and he just walked up to me. I turned and I screamed bloody murder, and I
It happens
he does that all the time.
Yeah, it happens at least one rehearsal for every Black Cat that we've done in 8 years of doing Black Cat.
Yes. Yeah. Greg, what's yours?
Well, Lee's was really special for me because it was the first full show that I had produced. I've had shorter things produced, and I've had some stage readings. We did a virtual stage reading during COVID, during lockdown, of a show that I've been shopping around to actually theaters across the country right now. I've got it submitted to one in Illinois right now, called The Gilman Problem, and it's based on the woman who created the creature from the Black Lagoon makeup, who was Hollywood's first female makeup designer.
Awesome.
Yeah, Millicent Patrick. And they did it as a little black and white movie almost, as our virtual staged reading while we were all locked in our houses during lockdown. But I think honestly my favorite has been Black Cat Folklore. There was just something really special about that show. It's the only show where as a cast member I have ever cried on stage. And a lot of audience members, including some folks I know who had doubts about the whole devised experience, came up to me afterwards and went, that show was so special. There was just something about that one that felt different. It felt unique. It felt important. So awesome. Yeah, that I think from the experience, it was probably my favorite.
Fantastic.
So I am trying to find where I found it, and you guys just got an award, correct? Voted Best Theater Company by Current Magazine of Washtenaw for 2025. That's kind of a big deal.
So we are really proud of that. We've won that a few times. So this most recent one was really exciting. So it feels good.
Yeah. and there are actually a couple of current awards among the ensemble as well. So Haunted Mitten, Krista and Kim's podcast, has won Current's Best Local Podcast. I've been Current's Best Writer in Washtenaw. A.M. Dean has been Current's Best Writer in Washtenaw. Lavona, has been best rock band, and they may have been Best New Band. I don't recall.
Yeah.
In previous years. So that, we've got a trophy, collection, where that's concerned. A.M. Dean and I have also been honored by Ypsi Writes, which is a local writing program. That encourages writing classes and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So racking them up.
Awesome. That's so cool.
That is.
Not too shabby.
So Chuck, are you ready for the last question?
I think I am. So this is our quintessential question that's part of the podcast, and it's for each of you to answer. And it's basically, what is your perfect Michigan day? So where would you go? What would you do? And what kind of beverage would you finish your day with? And who wants to go first?
All right, I can go first because I made Krista do the last one. So breakfast is at the Bomber.
Oh yeah,
100%. Like that is anytime I don't feel like cooking in the morning, it is the Bomber. Honestly, just kind of hanging around at downtown Ypsi.
Nice.
I grew up in Dearborn. I moved to New Orleans for about 4.5, 5 years when I was in college. New Orleans was the first place that ever felt like home to me. Ypsi is the second.
Nice.
I love this town for all its, ups and downs and goods and bads with all my heart. And there's, no place I'd really rather be than here.
Fantastic.
So just kind of hanging around, honestly, in downtown Ypsi and hanging out in Depot Town and, discovering something new. And beverage, you know what? I have to shout out our friends next door at Water Tower Distilling.
All right.
Because they do 3 custom cocktails for every one of our shows. This season, we just, I think, announced what the cocktails are going to be for our patio prom.
Yes. I don't know what they're made of, but I know the name.
Yeah.
So
And they've
people
been
can get
great friends of ours since they moved in next door. We love having them as neighbors.
so people can get a drink there and then bring it over to the show.
No, you can't bring it, but yeah, you can get, so for like folklore, we give them some titles that are based on the script, and they'll concoct these amazing cocktails.
That's
so
cool.
you can get a drink that's on theme with the show.
Yeah. I love
It's
that.
really
That's
cool.
fun. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, so go
fun.
see the show, go afterwards over to Water Tower, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Go over there before, and
Yeah, pregame
and they're
and
literally
postgame.
right next door to back office
Or
studio.
both.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right next door. Yeah, it's right next door.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So Kristin, how about you?
Mine. So, Greg, you kind of like took mine. Like, I have Summer on the mind, and we just got a dog in October, and she's been the best dog ever. She actually comes to the shows, and she just sleeps on her bed during the shows. Like, she's at rehearsals and stuff. So I probably take my dog. I take Winnie to Rolling Hills Park because I love Rolling Hills Park out in Ipsy. And then, yeah, I love having an Ipsy day. Erin and I call it, do you want to just have an Ipsy day? And we'll like just hang out downtown, go to Depot Town, and we'll walk around and shop, like go into the shops, have a drink, have some lunch and dinner. And I love hanging out in Ipsy. I just really like being here. I work downtown. I create downtown and everything. So, how I would end my day would probably be with an espresso martini, either at Wax Bar in Depot Town. They make such great espresso martinis, or at our friends at Water Tower. They make a great one too. Yeah, so you're golden.
I will
Excellent.
tell you, the only time we've ever been worried about Winnie during a show is when Kristin had to step in this most recent production of A Man for Christmas, and Erin was also in that show. And we didn't know how Winnie was going to fare with both mom and dad on stage at the same time.
Right.
So one of us had to be on Winnie, Winnie duty the
Who
entire
was on Winnie duty for that? I can't remember.
I think it was either Kim or Dawn.
Yeah. Hold the dog. She's right here. She's so good.
What kind of dog? What breed?
I'll show you. She's can you see her?
Oh, look, yeah.
Aw.
She's a Schnauzer mix,
Nice.
and she was we don't know, but she's a rescue, and we got her in she has been with us since October, and she's just a dream. She's just been the best thing ever, and she had a really, really, really hard life. She was in a puppy mill in Colorado, and the wonderful people at Detroit Dog Rescue took so many dogs in from that puppy mill, and then now she's here with us.
Fantastic. That's
Winnie.
a good story.
Well, welcome, Winnie.
She's so good. She
She has
doesn't
only
mind the
recently
drums.
learned how to bark.
Oh,
Yep.
there you
She
go.
recently learned how to bark, and when people come home, she doesn't bark here. I'm at the back office studio. She doesn't bark here yet. She better not.
Yeah.
Well, she won't be able to. She's just finding her voice and becoming a little doggy dog. So we just take her bed, and she'll just follow the cast around too. Jen was in here. One of our ensemble members came in earlier to pick up paint, and she just went right to Jen and just like, "Ooh." So
Awesome. Winnie the neighborhood theater group
dog.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, she has a bandana that Kylista made for her, and she wore it. It says, it has our logo, and instead where it's neighborhood theater group, it says neighborhood theater dog. And We do that for our ensemble members that have babies too. They get a onesie that says Neighborhood Theater Baby. So we've got a
Awesome.
collection of that too, which is fun.
That is.
Oh, our babies.
That is so awesome. Well,
Yeah.
Greg and Kristin, thank you again so much for being on the Life in Michigan podcast.
Thank
Yes,
you so
thank
much
you.
for having us. This was
Yeah,
lovely.
thank you.
It was fun.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to hit subscribe on your favorite podcast service to catch every episode of Life in Michigan. Help us spread the word by rating the show, sharing it with your friends, your neighbors, your family, your mail carrier. Share it with everybody, and leave a comment. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Stay connected by following us on our website and social media. This is a Life in Michigan production. Until next time, take care and have a fantabulous day in Michigan.